Alright, welcome to this submission video for Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater on the PS5, which is part of Master Collection Volume 1. I'm Joseph Joestar316, and I'll be running the game on EuroExtreme New Game Plus, which again, I'll explain why on the PS5 and why New Game Plus in just a moment. So the time is going to start when I load the New Game Plus file. And the time will end on the last shot against Ocelot in the Wig Plane. You know, just before the end credits. And the run estimate will be 1 hour, 10 minutes. So, alright, without further ado, let's get started. So in 3, 2, 1, go!
This way!
Take it away, David Hayter.
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Good stuff. Never get tired of it.
Jack?
Alright, so I'm running MGS3 on the PS5. Like I said, it's part of Master Collection. One of the big benefits to running this on the PS5 are the loads. You know, loads from when you start the game to get the opening monologue, cutscenes, codecs, room transitions. They're everything that a speedrunner would want. Is like near instantaneous speed. And my background with running this game on the PS3 is, you know, the burden of the loads, which, you know, weigh you down significantly over the course of the game. And with running it on the PS5, there's no load tricks you have to do where you, like, run the game, like, in advance and then you quit out but without restarting the game or the console. And you're just left with, you know, the consistent fast speeds for the loads. But at its core, we're still running MGS3 HD Edition. You know, ported from when this was remastered for the PS3 back in, you know, 2011. But, you know, with Master Collection, it's put them on minor gen systems as well as Steam. And, of course, you know, the caveat for me is just, you know, using familiar controls with being used to the DualSense for some time. But more about the game. So, like I said, this is EuroExtreme. Normally, it's game over if they spot you. Well, again, that's if they spot you. And I'm running New Game Plus, which I'll explain later, but it's primarily for, you know, camo that I want in advance on my inventory, as well as a Patriot that I'll be using against a boss fight coming up later. So, I'm just knocking out those two guards while, I don't know, making that guy report in, just, you know, firing off a ricochet. So, we're trying to get to where Sokolov is being held in this facility, guarded by KGB. So, we're just gonna knock out that first guard, doing a quick insta headshot. Fire twice at that one coming down the stairs. And then, hopefully, I can roll into this third one without being spotted, and then get out quickly enough before he sees me. Alright, and just like that, we got Sokolov, and, I don't know, some things happened, and I don't know, man, it must have been some kind of a, you know, scuffle that happened, and just to demonstrate what kind of run I'll be doing with Foxhound, I'm willing to put out this guarantee that what I just did there, none of that counted as a kill. Because for Foxhound, you gotta complete the game in, you know, less than 5 hours, have no kills, no alerts, no healing items, as well as, you know, the continues, so I may have lost some time right then and there just to prove a point, but, you know, it's just a small example of things to come when it comes to what Snake can get away with killing, but doesn't actually count as killing. Alright, so just going through the injury tutorial. Snake met up with the boss on the bridge. She defected. They fight. He gets tossed over into the ocean without her breaking his arm first. And, you know, Snake was in pretty rough shape. But we're now done with the Virtuous mission, which is the tutorial prologue of the game. And now we're actually starting Operation Snake Eater, where after recovering from getting beat up by the boss, we're infiltrating back into this section to beat up with Eva, who's supposed to be this, undercover agent that defected to the Soviet Union. And that's the thing, is like, there's, and I think David Hayter said this best in a, promo video for this recently. It's like you got single agents, double agents, triple agents. I mean, running through the game like this for the first time, it'd probably make a head spin trying to keep up with everything that's going on. But, for right now, we're just trying to make our way back to where I was at, just a few minutes ago. Except this time, I don't have the MK22 tranquilizer anymore. Or my operator, for that matter, because the boss showed up and, took the weapon apart and, beat me up again. Okay, so I was trying to do a double roll behind that tree. It's a very tricky maneuver to do, so I'm going to try this again. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I've lost Foxhound, but, I'll still continue this run as is. Obviously more than just, missing that double roll. There's other things in this run that take into consideration for the estimate. Oops. Off the tree. So what I was trying to do there at that bridge is you have to roll off that cliff at the right spot on the right angle, and you have to do a secondary roll also at the right angle to end up behind a tree, so that when a guard turns their head, you are in a blind spot so that you will not be detected, at least at that moment, so you can then cross the rope bridge safely. So I'm going to get this cardboard box, and believe me, it's no ordinary cardboard box. It actually does come in handy in this game. It's more of a necessity. You just get this sudden, urge to get inside the box. So, we're now starting the Ocelot unit boss fight. And I'm just setting up all the things I need and removing the things I don't need. First thing I'm going to do is trank that guard. Leave the room. Headshot this guard in the distance. Trank the third guard. And there's going to be this roaming group of 4 right outside this doorway. Knock on the wall while throwing a stun, which thankfully I got all 4 of them at once. Which lures the sniper over to trank him. And then I'm going to trank this guard by that tree. And then it looked like I got an off-screen headshot. But what I did is took like a small sidestep to the left. Because in this game, when guards notice you, they kind of squint their heads down. And when Snake aims his gun while their guard like hunches their head down, that actually creates a perfect condition to get a, direct headshot. There's sort of like this indirect lock-on from a distance, if you will. Like there is an auto-aim, but with that particular shot there, it's more of a like proximity type of lock-on, not like a direct lock-on with L1. Alright, so earlier I equipped the brown face paint camo, which is one of the benefits to, well, not only running New Game Plus, but it's also made available, I believe, if you run New Game, but you select the prompt. I'm running the series, but you choose the MGS3 option. There's like, yeah, I like playing MGS3. which gives you a series of camouflages that are available to you at the start. But other camos I will be using that are New Game Plus compatible. One, which is the sneaking suit, which I'll use for the end of the game. And then the other is the Patriot, which is going to be for a boss fight later. Alright, so Bolshaya Pass South is one of the hardest areas to do early on in the run. It's very time sensitive. So what I did is I fired off a round against a boulder there to get a dog barking, which lures one guard over. And then as soon as that guard starts talking, saying, you know, what was that? He'll start moving around to investigate where he saw me running with the box. Which then gives me time to run underneath the hole in the fence there. While also having the dog face the other way and not, you know, notice me. And then for Bolshaya Pass Base, this is going to be even more direct. We're just going to run right to where that guard is in the upper right. And we're going to do a trank roll knockout. While at the same time, going to unequip the suppressor to that gun. And then unequip it before going into the Ocelot fight. This way my gun will be on my equip, so that I have it ready to go. So I'm just going to hit him normally, throw a stun, shoot him in the head, throw another stun, turn around. And then I'm going to shoot the goat, so it distracts him.
I felt that. Not bad, eh?
Alright, so unfortunately, he broke the loop I was trying to do.
Damn!
So I'm gonna try to do my best to recover this. Alright, so that wasn't quite the greatest fight with him, but, you know, the idea is to lock him in place with, you know, mixing in, you know, gunshots with the MK22 and a stun. You shoot the goat so that he reacts to it, which then leaves him open to, you know, gunfire again. And should things go well, you end the fight quickly without taking a lot of damage like I just did. But for now, it'll be fine, maybe, with the next boss fight coming up with the Pain. Also, on a side note, casually speaking, when trying to navigate these caves growing up on the PS2, I did not have the luxury of having, you know, like, capable monitors, being able to see where I'm going. You know, brightness was always a problem, navigating, you know, those part of the caves growing up. But thankfully, I just, you know, memorized where I need to go. Alright, so we're gonna need this grenade here, as well as the smoke grenade I just picked up. Both of those are gonna be essential for the Pain. Alright, so I'm gonna throw the smoke first thing. Shoot him in the head. Alright, I'm gonna swap to a grenade while he's putting on his B armor, and then it's gonna blow it right off. Shoot him in the head again. Alright, and then for phase 2, I throw a grenade first thing. Go into first person so it cancels out the bullet bees. And there we go. That really couldn't have gone any better. Especially considering I was, you know, inches from death going in. So what that fight involves is keeping the Pain locked in place using smoke grenades and frag grenades, which will blow off the Hornet armor. And then getting in as many headshots and accurately as you can. Because for every headshot, he does that stagger. Which gives you ample time to get in another shot or two if you're accurate. And it also prevents him from doing a lot of other things that make that fight not so good to put up with, such as the Tommy gun, throws grenades at you via hornets, the bullet bees, you know, and a bunch of other things that are just utterly annoying, you know, to put up in a speedrun. Alright, so for this river, obviously we're going to be swimming, but thanks to the luxury of having the brown face paint, as you can see, my oxygen depletion is not nearly as fast as it would be without it. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to hug alongside the right-hand side of this river, which will allow me to kind of skip through these searchlights from these, you know, hovercraft, except I'm going to wait here a second. If you go too fast, that last spotlight can actually, you know, catch Snake when he's trying to go through. And now we're going to cause some mayhem at the docks, which is shrinking that guard, blowing up a barrel to damage the end, and shooting another barrel to kill the rest of the guards. Fun fact, you can kill the end here early. You will get a nice trophy slash achievement for it. Except for the speedrun, we obviously can't do this, you know, for reasons being, well, yes, it's slower, you gotta get the SVD first. You lose the Foxhound rank, and most importantly, you would lose the Mosin Nagant, the end's weapon, which is way too valuable to lose. Alright, so for this warehouse, I'm just gonna roll, or rather run through and roll past the guard, and do the same for the others on my way up. What makes that work so well is the fact that Snake's rolling hitbox is, you know, wider than it appears, which means you could be, like, past a guard, like, as you're running through, and the roll hitbox will still hit that guard in some capacity. It's not like in, you know, an MGS3 where you almost have to be, like, you know, in near, like, physical contact, if you're gonna try to roll into a guard. You know, so it's a really useful thing in this run, whether if it's, you know, intentional or not, you know, when this game was developed, but it comes in handy a lot in this run. Alright, so we're just gonna crawl through the hole in the wall here. I mean, it would be the polite thing to, you know, knock on the door and have the guard open it, but, you know, we're trying to be fast here.
Huh? Who's that?
Oh, my mistake, man. We can't go into the lab dressed like that. We gotta be, you know, gotta be professional. All right. So we're gonna be as a scientist.
Running away, huh? Not so fast.
Yeah. So now we're playing as, you know, Dr. Snake with a PhD in boxes. Clearly, these guys have tremendous respect for him. You know, even if they question his methods. I mean, you know, he's just a guy, you know, testing out things for science, running of the guards.
You, what are you up to? It's the enemy.
Alright, so now we're gonna do the same thing, but on the way out, which is gonna be a little bit different. So I'm gonna turn this corner, then equip the box so the scientists won't notice who I really am and, you know, cause, you know, the guards to notice and then, you know, create a game over. I'm gonna grab this SIG spray, which is an important item.
Hey.
And one of the things you'll notice by now already is that when I go up hills, stairs, or any other type of incline, I'll have the box equipped. And the reason for that is Snake's movement speed won't slow down if he has the box on when going, you know, on those inclines. And it's mainly because, like, there wasn't a slower movement animation speed program, you know, with the box equipped. So yeah, not only does the box come in handy for certain like distraction maneuvers or, you know, to cover, you know, clearing corners, but it's really good for optimizing movement. Unfortunately, it does not help me with my aiming, which is a separate issue. But coming up is going to be the Fear boss fight. And this is where the beauty of New Game Plus kicks in. So I'm just going to go in with the stun in hand, and I'm going to turn around, use the feign death pill, and be like, oh man, this poison, it was too much. He's going to drop down, think I'm dead. As soon as he takes a step forward, I'm going to get up and be like, haha!
Wasn't dead after all.
I'm going to throw the stun immediately, equip the Patriot, turn around. As soon as he's stunned, I just light him up with the Patriot, and look at that stamina bar drain. So, the Fear's ability to camouflage takes up his stamina, and when he's stunned, during that time, every bit of damage that you do during that time he's stunned is treated as stamina damage. So, with the quick burst of the Patriot, you know, he just goes down in quick time. Alternatively, people will do what's referred to as the log strat, where you do a similar type of setup. Instead, you use a log trap to actually inflict the damage onto him. But the Patriot works, you know, just as well, if not a little bit faster, but I like how more consistent it is. But I'll concede that the log strat does look cooler when it's done properly. Yeah, so here's an example of where normally if you go up these hills without the box, you would slow down. But with it on, you just keep moving at a consistent speed. Alright, so now this fourth section is rather tricky, so I'm going to concentrate for parts of it. Alright, so the first one involves rolling into this guard, which is going to make them fall back and to the left. I'm going to fire off my gun right about there to make this one move over.
Enemies here.
And then I hold this grenade up, which silences my footsteps so he won't hear me. And then I'm going to slow down, wait for this guy to turn around. Roll over.
This is HQ.
And then knock out this last guard. Yeah, that area is very, very fragile. You know, one little mistake and, you know, it falls apart really easily. Alright, so now we're going to fight the end, which I'm going to aim right at him. And part of what I didn't mention earlier is, you know, yeah, I got an arrow in my leg, and the reason for leaving it in, because for some reason it makes the end lay down instead of kneeling when he first, you know, appears. Which will make it easier to get headshots. So what I'm doing now is I'm staying put here and I'm punching repeatedly against that corner 7 times. I'm gonna throw a smoke, make a lot of noise at the Patriot, and even though the end spawned out when he left, when you make loud noise, he'll make him reappear, which is gonna be right past that tree. Throw a stun.
I can't see.
And I'm gonna run up to him, punch him twice, 6 spray, punch him twice again, and then I'm gonna swap to my handgun to hold him up.
You.
Alright, and then when he lays down on the ground, I'm gonna 6 spray, throw a smoke. Throwing the grenade, the smoke grenade and stun grenade will interrupt his hitbox cooldown. Because if you hit him 3 times, it'll knock him back and then break him out of this loop I'm trying to keep him in. Which there I did that intentionally, so that he will throw a stun and then run up here. I'll 6 spray him again. Double tap. Okay, so I was a little bit short on stamina damage, but... Wow, that was actually a really nice shot. I don't typically do that. Normally you can either do that, or you could just run up to him and, you know, roll into him, or 6 spray, or if you have a stun left over, you can actually use that to end it. But if you get the right amount of damage early, it'll actually end the fight at that tree during what would be like the last 6 spray. Alright, so now, the moment we've all been waiting for, myself included. One of the wonders of the world. They say that when you climb this ladder, and you make it through the other side, you come out an entirely different person. Oh, let's enjoy that experience together.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill, I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart. But you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime is the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
Boy, what did I tell you? That ladder is truly something special. Alright, so now we're in the mountains, where this 6 spray is going to be put to use again, along with the box. I'm going to unequip it right here. 6 spray him, and I'm just going to continuously roll. Not only to keep myself moving, but it keeps my camo index high enough so that guy won't notice me. The one that, you know, was starting to investigate. 6 spray the last guard, and then roll into the next part of the mountain section. Alright, get an off-screen headshot just by target locking without really aiming. I'm gonna take that guard out for safety. Normally I just shoot him once and let the tranquilizer effect kick in. But for the purpose of this submission, I'm just gonna play it safe. I mean, there's nothing unusual about this at all, is there? I mean, you just got a guy with an arrow in his leg, you know, some guards, a vulture, I mean, you know, box. A box? Here? Nah. I don't know, let's see what this guy thinks.
What's this box?
Yeah, I mean, just another day.
Over there.
Yeah, for some reason, if they see the box, but then you turn the corner out of sight, they go to investigate, but they never really quite comprehend the fact that there's a box there when there shouldn't be. Alright, so on the summit, I'm gonna roll off this, into this trench just before I reach it, to make them hear the footsteps of me approaching it. I'm gonna fire off a round when I see that red door. Roll up to that ledge here, climb up. I'm gonna follow that pathing along the right side so the guy in the trench on the left-hand side won't see me. And then for safety, I'm gonna blow up that barrel, which is gonna kill that guard and, you know, push him off that cliff. And then go up to the ruins to meet up with Eva. Alright, so Eva gave us the key to the locked door, as well as some intel on, you know, where Sokolov is in Groznyj Grad. Yeah, I mean, blow up the barrel for safety. I mean, you know, like I said, it does not count as a kill. You know, even rolling that barrel into the, you know, group of Ocelot guards and Ocelot himself did not count as a kill either. So, thankfully, going through the mountainside on the way back is a lot easier than going up. But what's not the case coming up is the Fury, who I hold to be the worst boss fight in the game. But before I do that, I'm just going to show off this really neat but definitely not fast trick, which is the box glide. Alright, so the Fury. He's chaotic, he's random, I'm low HP. He's got a flamethrower. I'm gonna try to get him before he gets me.
My chute's been ripped.
So I'm gonna... Alright, well I can already see this is not going according to plan, so I'm just gonna improvise. Yeah, see, this is what makes the Fury the worst fight in the run, because if you don't get him into what's referred to as a jetpack loop, where you bait him out to attack and he charges up like he's doing now, which leaves him open to attack, it makes it a very risky yet miserable boss fight to try to recover, as well as just being put at risk of dying, because I have low HP, no stamina to speak of, and any direct hit from him is most likely a direct, you know, kill on Snake. Alright, so with that aside, we finally made it into Groznyj Grad. And even though, casually speaking, this was such an intimidating area to go through with so many guards everywhere and spotlights, guard dogs, thankfully we only have to take out 2. Which was that guard and this one here. Oh, no, don't mind me, I'm just a box. Yeah, man, just nothing out of the ordinary here, it's just a box. I'm gonna throw a smoke, which is gonna partially obstruct the line of sight of this guard that's off screen, which is gonna get Rykov's attention, make him run across the bridge so I can just run through him with the box, grab him with CQC, and forcefully drag him along with me. Because we need his uniform to complete the disguise so he can get to the west lab where Rykov, or where Sokolov's being held. But as Rykov. Alright, so we put on the mask, put on the outfit. Yep, spitting image. Arrow included. I'm telling you, man, that those guards guarding Sokolov won't even know the difference. I mean, you know, they're not gonna notice that he's got an arrow in his leg, the fact, you know, that Rykov somehow gained the ability to, you know, glide with the box.
Sir.
See? No problem. It's like, good box glide, sir. It's like, what a fascinating arrow in your leg today, sir. But it was short-lived. We're captured.
Stop it.
Who have you been talking to?
He doesn't know what you're talking about.
You'd better start talking.
Please, stop this.
Who is Khrushchev's lapdog?
So this would be the part of the run where if you needed to go on a bathroom break, water break,
Never do it.
You!
or just a mental break from speedrunning, you know, this is where we just have to sit it out for, you know, a couple of minutes.
I guess he's dead.
Rip Sokolov.
Now then, I hope you'll prove more entertaining than he was. But first, let's take a look at your body, shall we? What a beautiful body you have, like a newborn baby.
Oh yeah, so here's a strange fact with being in this torture scene. Your medical history for like your injuries, depending on the amount that you have before you get captured here, Volgin's line will change when he says, let's take a look at your body. In a speedrun, normally he'll say, you know, what a beautiful body you have, but other lines he could say is, wow, you've certainly seen your share of battles. And another thing you could do is you can actually hold open the menu with, you know, L2 and R2 and actually not take damage here. Even though your health at this point is not important. Alright, so we're thrown into the cell, got frustrated, so we kicked the rat, and then we took out the transmitter that Ocelot put in our back, and feigned death pill that was shot into Snake's leg, and Snake's just gonna spin around 10 times and then get dizzy. Which is gonna make our friend Johnny get all worried.
What's wrong? Are you okay? Oh, jeez. Did you throw up?
Yeah, I did. But I'm better now. Okay, except for the part where I was supposed to knock him out, but it's okay. They'll just give me a reason to show this off again. I mean, I guess it's only fair that Johnny gets a chance to win every once in a while, because he gets knocked out every run. Alright, so we'll do this again.
What's wrong? Are you okay? Oh, jeez. Did you throw up?
Yeah, I did it again. But I feel better again. Alright, so that's what I was supposed to do, was 2 punches, and then a 1, 2, 3 melee attack with the revolver. So we can not only escape, but get the smoke grenades, as well as using the rat that I killed in the cell to make noise to distract one guard. Hold the grenade up so that none of the other guards hear my footsteps. And then we're just gonna move left alongside this wall. You know, because as you can see, my camo index is very poor. Given I don't really have a camouflage uniform to work with or any of my gear. Except for smoke grenade. Which is going to obstruct the view of that guard on the left. As well as interfere with this dog's sense of smell so he won't alert the other guards I'm nearby. Alright, I'm just gonna carefully crawl across and reach this hatch here into the sewers. Alright, so for the sake of speedrunning, Snake, I apologize once again, but I'm gonna get hurt again. Yeah, I mean, Snake goes through a lot in this game. You know, fractured legs, shot in the leg with an arrow, poisoned, you know, tortured by Volgin, not to mention, you know, Snake lost his right eye. You know, so in this sewers, I'm just trying to keep ahead of the guard dogs that are chasing after him, and you might have noticed by now why do I have a cigar equipped, as well as taking such a huge risk with, you know, falling down and injuring Snake. Well, the next quote-unquote boss fight coming up is kind of a unique one. Like, it's a boss fight if you want it to be, but for the speed run, it's just a going through of the motions, if you will. Oh, see, there's the doggos. So with the Sorrow, I'm just gonna swim under the water, let Snake drown. Don't worry, it's not real, it's just a dream. And we're just gonna use the revival pill. Now, casually, if you go through the rest of that encounter with the Sorrow, you're rewarded with the Sorrow's camo, which is actually pretty useful, since it gives you guaranteed silent footsteps regardless of where you are. However, for the run that I have here, it's non-essential, and, you know, it takes longer to actually get through that encounter, although technically speaking, the in-game clock actually pauses when you're in there, encountering the Sorrow, but for a marathon, it does add a few more minutes. Despite the fact that I haven't killed any of the guards, I mean, not directly. Because the game tallies how many kills you've really had, and the more guards that you killed, the more that show up in there as spirits that you would have to evade. So the only ones that show up in there are the Cobra unit bosses, even though I would argue, hey, I took you guys out non-lethally. It's not my fault that the Sorrow brought you in there. But anyways, so we met up with Eva again. Snake recovered his injuries and stamina, got a nice meal in him, and, you know, eye patch to boot. And now we're gonna equip, not a face camo, but the sneaking suit I was talking about a while ago. Normally you would have to go into the East Weapons Lab where Rykov was stashed in that locker. And in its place is a sneaking suit, which gives you fairly good camo visibility. But primarily it's a defensive camo where it gives you 50% damage reduction. And it also minimizes stamina usage. Alright, so I'm gonna use the box to make that guard look over while the other one just looks on and on what's going on there. He's like, huh? And I just go through as a box. I mean, that's sort of a recurring theme where we just look at this and just say, man, it's just a box. And so I used cardboard box B that was in that part of the sewer canal there, as it will warp you into the main wing where Shagohod is. Cardboard box A that I got at the beginning will warp you into the East Weapons Lab where Rykov was, and I thought that was a headshot. My mistake. Alright, so we'll do that again. Just get him to notice the box.
What's this box doing?
Alright, there we go. Alright, so I'm just gonna go up here, make a ricochet, which is gonna cause everyone to go into a panic. Particularly the guards that are in here. While I just casually, you know, use my box disguise and plant the C3 on the 4 fuel tanks for the Shagohod's jet fuel that are in there for the booster rockets. So while the guards are running around in a panic wondering what that ricochet was, I'm just now passing, planting the last C3 explosive. And then we get into the Volgin boss fight. So he may look intimidating, he may look like he's stronger than me, but he's weak to CQC and some SVD bullets.
Hear it! Snake! Let's see you dodge this one!
Alright, so I was short on damage at the start, but no big deal, just fire another round. Now, you might be wondering, well, wait a minute, you're doing Foxhound stretch, which doesn't involve killing anything, so why use the SVD now? Well, and the answer to that is, no matter what you do to Volgin here, he doesn't technically die. So, therefore, the game will not count it as a kill no matter what you do to him. And I don't need to take him out non-lethally because I don't need his Cold War camo, which is what you would get completing the fight non-lethally. So, as you can see, Volgin is definitely not dead. I mean, he's, you know, up and running into the Shagohod. And this is the infamous bike section of the run, which is going to be going through parts like Groznyj Grad, taking out guards, maybe occasionally shooting a Keraton if I actually could hit it. Of course, I'm trying to no-scope it for swag. But in between, I'm going to actually take shots at the Shagohod. Not just to kill time, but there's actually a chassis that you're aiming at to chip away the health a little bit at a time. Because the more damage you get done ahead of time, the slightly faster fight you'll get with the Shagohod later. Alright, so I'm using the Mosin Nagant to knock out the guards. You could use the MK22 here, but I just like using the Mosin. I mean, it's definitely not to try to show off, like, no-scoping or anything. Okay, maybe a 360 no-scope.
Behind you.
Yeah, so I'm trying to aim at that rectangular part of the chassis there. That's will actually do some minor damage. You know, because everything else is just hardened to armor and it won't do any damage to the Shagohod. Alright, I had to cheat and use the scope.
Enemy sighted.
Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use these barrels to take out these two guards. Oh, my mistake. Alright, well I did that in reverse order, but that's okay. But the barrels will take them out instantly. Alright, and do the same thing here. Oh, whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Alright, so it was essential I do that there with the barrels because the longer, or rather the more guards that are left up there, the longer Eva will wait before she starts moving again. So it'd just be, you know, dead time during these sections. And despite the fact that it can be viewed as an auto-scroller, you can lose time in this. Woo! Yeah, even with the sneaking suit on, the one thing you don't want to get hit by is explosives. They'll still hurt. Like, gunfire is mitigated pretty well, but explosives, like from RPGs, will still hurt quite a bit, even with the 50% damage reduction. So I shot the passengers off of each bike, so that the drivers will use the, you know, the handguns. Which are less accurate, hardly do any damage to Snake. The passengers have the Scorpion SMGs, which in plenty of numbers, they'll actually, you know, melt you down pretty quick. You know, maybe a little bit longer with the sneaking suit, but it's just damage that you don't need to be mitigating. Plus, I mean, you know, the riders need to get some practice time with the handguns while driving. Alright, well, that's enough practice. Alright, boy, you thought shooting at the Shagohod was tedious before? Well, you're in luck, because we're going to be doing that again. Volgin might have a thing or two to say about all of that. Now, other than him repeating like the same 3 or 4 lines over and over, I'm trying to get as many successful hits as I can without hitting the inner treads too much, or the joints, because I don't want him to slow down and then I would lose time to get shots on him. Yeah, like that. And I'm trying to aim at that same like rectangular weak spot. Alright, so now we just gotta shoot 4 C3 charges that Eva planted. Although you could just blow up 3 out of the 4 ahead of time and then just wait for the Shagohod to approach.
Keep your aim steady. Keep your aim steady. Keep your aim steady. It's here!
Alright, and just when you thought it was over, nope. Shagohod is still working. Except half of it's gone. Which leaves the back of it exposed since the armor is weakest there.
You're wearing him down.
Alright, well, I was trying to go for a loop. Where you damage the Shagohod a certain way and then alternate between the rear armor and the tread, which keeps it locked in place. But since I didn't really get the first hit done properly, it's just gonna be more or less a conventional fight. The Shagohod loop would probably save you like, I think it's like 30 plus seconds if you do it right. Now, the biggest problem with this fight is not really what the Shagohod does, it's really Eva. You know, she's trying her best, but her driving is really the worst RNG mechanic. No, Eva, you're driving. Yeah, okay, she drove me into the Shagohod, but I mean, like I said, she's trying her hardest. So thankfully for the second half, I take over. I just aim at the treads, alternate between that and the Mosin while shooting him in the head.
I can't move.
And do it again for one last shot. And that is the end of Volgin. And more bike chase. Oh, nice, I got one of the hovercraft. It doesn't really do anything, but it just looks funny if you get them. Alright, so same thing as before, I'm just gonna shoot the passengers off only. There we go. And we can just enjoy the scenery. Now the reason for doing this here, as well as the runway, not only to make them use their handguns, but it prevents other bikes from spawning in, should you take them out, you know, one after the other. Except for right here, because they're at the end of the road.
It's an ambush.
They're not going anywhere. Stop that.
Oh wow, I actually hit him. You don't need to can't get that guy in the tower, but yeah, it's all about swag.
Over there.
Alright, so you thought the hovercraft were annoying before. Well, this showcases it, you know, but a lot worse. Now, having the sneaking suit on here makes this a lot easier to deal with, at least on the damage front. But normally speaking, this is probably one of the worst areas in the speedrun altogether, just due to the high risk of dying. Because the hovercraft used the SMG weapons I was talking about. And if you're not careful, you know, they can kill you pretty easily over time. If not, the risk of the hovercraft actually crashing on top of Snake, dealing damage, if not, you know, burning tick damage, which is, you know, light damage over time. And as you can see, man, they just spawn in one after the other. I mean, it's like, I just kind of wonder, like, why weren't these guys patrolling Groznyj Grad? They got so many of them out here. Alright, so we'll just take out the log with the SVD. And we can just enjoy this beautiful moment of, well, this. Man, did you guys see that mountain just crash into them? Alright, so, same deal as before. Take out the bikes. This time we don't have to worry about shooting the passenger out only, because different bikes will spawn in the further ahead you go. Should be one right here. Oh wow, that bike almost like crashed into the other one, but on a like slide. Ah, not gonna lie, that actually would have been really cool if that happened. Set of bikes here.
Here comes her jump. Hold on tight.
But I don't have my seatbelt on.
What do you think of that?
Snake approves of the jump. Okay, so we got one last section of required menuing, which is to heal Eva's injuries. But what I'm doing here was removing the items I don't need, but equipping the stun grenade that I'll need for the last boss fight. So I'm gonna feed Eva. It's actually faster to feed her here at the beginning rather than feed her 2 instant noodles, you know, throughout the forest escorting sections. And it'll be important because there'll be a group of guards chasing after Snake and Eva after their motorcycle crashed. Alright, so I'm just gonna call her over. And again, this is something that should be straightforward, but what you're dealing with here is not only just trying to evade the guards, but you're trying to keep Eva's movement as efficient as possible, because she moves really slow, but also she can move around objects like trees you know, a long way if, you know, the pathing is complicated. But then again, I mean, she could just move around it even if the path is straightforward. It's just, I don't know, it's just something you gotta, you know, deal with in the run. I mean, you'd be amazed how much time gets lost in, you know, this part of the run. Not only just because of your own movement and menuing, but, you know, Eva's movement to go with it. Alright, so that was the first half. Now we're in the second half, so now the guards are already ahead of Snake and Eva. They're no longer tailing them at this point. So I'm just gonna take out the ones ahead of me that I need.
It's the enemy!
Okay, suppressor wore off.
Where did that come from?
Man, it makes me wonder how I could even see their heads sometimes. Okay, so that was not ideal, but yeah, we're still getting through. Eva's still hobbling along. Because the thing is, if her stamina gets too low, she'll slow down even more. And even get to a point where she just won't move until you give her food. Alright, so we're gonna go on this upper path instead of going down into the right. So that I can knock on this plant here to make noise, which will lure this guard underneath to investigate.
I hear something.
While it gives me time to knock out those two. As well as this guard posted up right there at that tree log. Alright, so I got everything I need for the last fight with the boss. Alright, so again, I'm going to try to explain it as I do it. So first thing is I'm going to counter the CQC charge by pressing and holding circle when she makes contact. I'm going to shoot her twice in the head, throw her down, then throw a stun up in the air, which will blind her. Fired her head again 2 times. Whoop. Okay, so this is already going to be an issue. Alright, so I'm gonna go to a backup strat, which is to kind of continue the loop, but it's not gonna finish like the loop.
You're better than I remember.
Which I'm just gonna, you know, have her just do her thing where she tries to shoot at me, but I'll just force her to CQC grab and counter.
Get ready. Brace yourself.
Alright, so we'll shoot her 2 more times. And that is the boss fight. Normally, if you do the loop properly, you kind of keep her isolated in one area. You repeat the tranking twice to the head, CQC slam, and then a stun, which you would do twice. And then on the last CQC charge, it would be like another 2 shots and a CQC maneuver to actually end it.
It's our only hope.
The boss is handing him the data for Metal Gear Solid Delta.
A patriot? Why are you giving me this?
Jack. Or should I say, Snake? You're a wonderful man. Kill me. Kill me now. do it. There's only room for one boss and one snake.
Now, like the Volgin torture thing, it's required, so you gotta do it. Alright, so last encounter with Ocelot. Gonna pick the revolver on the left, fire it 6 times, and time will be on the last shot here. So the revolver on the left is always the one with the loaded bullet, but as it turned out, it was a blank. So it's faster just to pick that, fire the 6 rounds rather than wait for Ocelot to do it. So that is Metal Gear Solid 3 on European Extreme for Master Collection on PS5 for European Extreme New Game Plus, with just being under an hour 5 minutes. Like I said, I really enjoy this version of MGS3. Or actually, I should mute the weighted DMCA there. I really enjoy this version of the game. The loads are really what make it satisfying to run. You know, the loads are consistent, as well as just the fact that, you know, the game frame rate is consistent throughout, even in areas like Groznyj Grad. And I would encourage anyone to, you know, give this game a try for Master Collection, whether if you played it before in the past, or if you're possibly brand new and, you know, want to, you know, experience it for the first time. You know, definitely give this a chance on Master Collection for PS5 or whatever system you have. But that is my run for submission for MGS3. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.